progresses, you lose bone mass, you go down a shoe size, you're gonna need new rollerblades, pal. And that's where we come in. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I have been trying to be better, actually. I've been reading in general, because somebody told me that reading builds empathy, which I didn't even know what that was, I guess. I've been reading, but you know, I'm in my mid-30s now, so I can't read fiction anymore, because that doesn't fucking work on you. I don't care. People are like, oh, this is beautifully written. I'm like, shut up. What are you talking about? You read a story. And they lived in love forever and ever. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I need to find a war I can pretend I died in. Those are the kind of books I can read in my low T 30s. This war history. I'm like, yeah, that's me with the sword. So I've been reading a lot of war history, and I found this out. Apparently they had something called the French and Indian War. Do you guys know about this? Oof. Imagine how fucking bad that smelled, folks. Oh my God, whoa. I said both of them? What were they fighting over? The Febreze? I don't know. What the hell? I'm just kidding. I'm not racist. It's just a joke. I'm not racist. I'm not. Unlike Paul Dean, I never say the N-word. I don't say the N-word. I don't think you should. I will say this. There's one exception I make for myself that I think almost every white person makes. It's if I'm in my car by myself listening to rap music. But what can I say? I just really hate rap music. It just really gets on my nerves. I don't know. Those last three are just for me. That's for you. No. I really do. I do try to check myself, honestly. And you know what? There's something I want to own up to that I did somewhat recently that I feel kind of bad about, but I want to confess to it. I did something misogynistic, and I'll just tell you what it was. It was a couple years ago during the last Winter Olympics, which I was watching with my then girlfriend, and I killed her. And, she's fine. She's fine. She's both alive and well and also doesn't exist. And I made her up for that. No. We were watching the Winter Olympics, and something happened during the last Winter Olympics that is, it's like kind of the source of frustration for me with comedy, because you get into doing stand-up, if you love it as a kid, you get into doing it because it brings you so much joy. It's like it's this escape, right? But like anything in life, if you start pursuing it, eventually it just becomes technical, right? And it sucks the joy out of it. So now I'll watch the best comedians in the world, right? And what it looks like to me is Matrix code, you know? So it has to be a situation in real life that brings me joy, right? So best comedian, best joke, I just go, that's funny. Deaf guy being chased by bees, I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking perfect. But the problem is those things happen in real life, and then it's your job as a comedian to explain it to the audience why it's funny, and I don't like doing my job, right? So, but during the last Winter Olympics, a thing like that, a very funny situation happened, and I'll tell you guys, I'll just tell you what happened. I'll tell you that, here's how they reported it. One of the cross-country skiers, his penis froze off. That's what they said, right? Right? And you guys see, you're barely laughing. You're like, go on. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Of all the ways to lose your dick, I mean, that's fucking, it's like getting sucked into a machine at a Looney Tunes factory and then freezing off at the Winter Olympics. That's the funniest way possible. Because really, build up the image in your head. That's like a 4-hour event. It probably happened halfway through. And this dumbass with that the bullet helmet, it's like, sure, my penis feels weird, but it's the Olympics. I gotta tough it out. It's the Olympics. I'm doing this for Sweden. And he gets across the finish line, and it had been hours. You know, it probably worked its way up the fucking. And they're like, he thinks they're putting the medal on them, and they're like, what is that, a baby carrot? What do you have on them? What do you have under your fucking... Anyways, so we're sitting there. I'm crying laughing at this man that lost his dick at the Olympics. And I turn to my girlfriend and I say, well, just give him the women's gold medal, obviously. That seems to be the answer. And she quickly fires back. She says, that's really misogynistic. And I was like, ah, fuck. I thought I was being a trans ally. I forgot about it. I'm trying my best here to do the right thing. But she's right. No, she's right. That is misogynistic. It is a misogynistic thought to have, to assume that even the worst dickless guy in the cross-country skiing event would be better than the best woman. But, I mean, cross-country skiing is kind of a joke across the board. It's just cold walking. No one should get a fucking award for that anyways. But, you know, she's right. It is misogynistic. And I genuinely don't want to be a misogynist. I don't want to be any kind of prejudice or whatever. I would want to be a good guy. So I had to do some soul searching. I said, well, why do I have thoughts like this, right? Is it something innate in me that makes me bad? Or, like most things, is it society's fault, right? And you would be surprised to learn that it's society. It is. It's society. It is society's fault, yeah. Because I blame the education system. I do. I mean that, because I was thinking about this, and this is real. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking back to elementary school, and I remembered that we didn't do women's history, right? Which, it doesn't seem that absurd to just throw that out there at face value. But if you think about it, we definitely had other identity-based history units, right? Like, we had Native American history, which, to be fair, was mostly, hey, come to school dressed like a Native American. Which probably did more harm than good. I don't know if that really helped. But we had Black History Month. I remember that. I'm sure you guys did too. You remember that? February roll around, they'd be like, hey, you like peanut butter? Well, have I got news for you, pal? Yeah, the peanut butter. That was them. No, not the grape jelly, the peanut butter. Yeah. The grape jelly was us. They did the peanut butter. I know you would think that it would be the other way, but... yeah, it's crazy. It's sort of like the jazz of sandwiches. It's awesome how that kind of worked out. And then, of course, you get to the end of February, be like, did black people invent anything other than peanut butter? And they'd be like, whoa, look at the time. I guess we don't want a revolution here. Might as well close the book now, I guess. But we never did women's history. That was just not one of the units that we did, which is funny to me, because I was thinking, like, did they teach us about any women in history? And there was only two names that I could recall. It was Amelia Earhart and Helen Keller, which is very funny that they were planning the curriculum and they were like, hey, we got to do women's history. Who are the most important women of all time? We only got room for two, so they better be good. Okay, here we go. I got one. How about some lady that was so bad at flying, they never found her. Just gone forever without a trace. That is the best girl pilot we ever had, so we'll... Bon voyage, ladies. We'll put her in there. And we need one more. Oh, I know. How about a little girl that was so disabled, people were like, damn. Oh my God. She's trying to talk to a doorknob. We got to put this in the history book. This is like their Ben Franklin, basically. Severely disabled little girl. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyone else do the thing, too, where your brain, like, confuses Helen Keller and Anne Frank? The thing where they just merge. Like, I have that. It's the same process as, like, fucking those two, Gary Busey and Nick Nolte. My brain's like, that's the same guy. And then Michael Douglas and Martin Sheen. It's like, it's very weird. It's like your brain doing, like, a mini racism. You know, where it just picks two people and like, yeah, look at all these Gary Buseys over here. You know, it's just fucking the two of them. But yeah, Anne Frank and Helen Keller, that's a weird one, right? Because they have nothing in common, other than they were both like little girls. And one couldn't speak, and the other one wasn't allowed to. I guess that's probably been... I guess it would have been pretty fucking bad if they had Helen Keller in that attic. That would have been a tough job. Just like, I'm trying my best. What do you have up there, a monster? Bring us the monster! Bring the monster down here now! They probably would have just left her there. They're like, yeah, this is worse than anything we could do. To just be trapped in a prison under your face. I think that's probably a fate worse than death. With Helen Keller, too, wasn't it just, it was like her caretaker was the only person that could, like, talk to her, right? Did anyone check? Was there any way to check? Because that could have just been like just some... It was just some lady that was like, I can talk to her. I can talk to monsters. I can speak to them. Give me a book deal. I'll speak to the monster for you. I'll let you know when she's in love. The monster's saying she's in love. If that lady was lying, that is the most important moment in history. It's the greatest con man that ever lived was actually a woman, kids. There was a brave lady that took advantage of a disabled girl and made millions of dollars. That's your Gordon Gekko, basically. I don't know. Those were the kind of jobs we used to have 100 years ago, back when things were cooking. It was all good jobs. Every job was being a different type of liar, basically. There's no fun jobs like that anymore. There's only one that's close, which is being the guy at Apple that comes up with the new emojis every update. That is an 1880s liar's job. Because everyone else at Apple has to be a computer programmer. And then there's one guy that gets to show up at every update meeting being like, poof, okay, here's my 10 guys I drew, so wow. Yeah, good job, team. We all worked the same hard as each other on this one. So I'm gonna go to lunch, but yeah, that's a wrap, definitely. But why that job's really good is because, like, I don't know if you pay attention to the new emojis every update, but there's always, like, 90% of them are bullshit, but they always throw in 4 or 5 that are just bait for Fox News. That's it. That's the only reason they're in there. Like, every time it'll be a snowman or a takeout food box or an Indian guy marrying a dog, and then fucking... Sean Hannity sees it, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Stay away from my dog, Vikram. You know, he loses his fucking mind. Like the last update. You remember the last update? It was the pregnant man emoji that fucking they went crazy, which they didn't even say it was a pregnant man. It was just a guy doing this. He could have just been full. You don't even know. He could have just eaten too much cum. You don't know that he was pregnant, right? But then Tucker saw it and he's like, it's the end of the world. Want to use your iPhone? Time to get nutted in. It's the future Apple wants. What is going on? Who wants this? Who wants to eat cum to use their phone? I miss that show. It's so funny to watch and imagine like a 95-year-old being like, I have to eat cum now.